The funeral service for the late minister in the presidency, Jackson Mthembu, will be held at the Sacred Heart Roman Catholic Church in Ackerville, Emalahleni in Mpumalanga this morning. Mthembu succumbed to COVID-19 related complications in hospital on Thursday. The service is scheduled to begin at 9 a.m. and President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to deliver the eulogy. Let's now cross back to our reporter in Emalahleni, Samkele Maseko. Samkele, a very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us again. We only have an hour before the service starts at 9 a.m. What can you tell us at this point?
Okay, comrades.
Well, I'm going to cut it short here. The ANC is just about to hand over their flag to the family. I'm just going to leave it there and leave it to the acting provincial secretary of the ANC in the province, Lindiwe Ntalintali, to just speak on the program that's going to unfold. And Speedy Mashilo, the chairperson of the region Nkangala, who will be handing over the flag to the African National Congress, with the acting provincial chairperson, Emalahleni, also here to hand the flag over to the family.
Thank you very much. This morning, as the ANC, we are going to be doing the flag handing over to the family. Why we are doing this ceremony just for 15 minutes? Because there's no coffin that we have draped due to the COVID-19. So we've just prepared the Mpumalanga flag so that we give it back to the community. Our culture, it says, you've worked with us, you have served the movement. Take this, it's like a remembrance. Remember that you have served like a soldier. Every time they look at that flag, they must remember that you fought for this country. You have roots from the ANC. So where we are going to do that 8 o'clock, and then 8:15 we should be done. We're expecting officials of the ANC, TG, DSG. We're told that also the DP and other members, the PEC, the chairperson, you've seen him, there is the region, also will be part of that, and they will hand over to the family. As we do that, after that, the chief mourner will be moved after given the flag. They will be moving and going to the car, but we request that everybody that is not supposed to be here, they must move to church, because they should be screened, they should be accredited, so that when we finish with this process, they are not combating that area, because only a few people that were given responsibilities that were supposed to be here, not everybody. If you are not supposed to be here, they must move to the church so that they are screened properly and they are given their seats. So here it's flag handing over. It's more of an ANC ceremonial. So that as we move to the church, it's only government, because this is a category 1 funeral. That would be it.
That is Lindiwe Ntalintali, the acting ANC provincial secretary in the province. I'm just going to also try and call Emalahleni and Speedy Mashilo, the regional chairperson of Nkangala, to speak on the life and times of Jackson Mthembu. The family is saying that they will speak after the family.
What we're going to do now? Yes, what we're going to do, we're going to take the program. We'll talk the program later in terms of the discussions. Can you allow the program to start so I don't keep the family? The procedure is that we're going to hand over to the acting provincial chairperson. The acting chairperson of the province, he will hand over the flag to the NEC member, who is the convener of the province, Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa. Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa will hand over the flag officially to the family. So that's what we're going to do.
We are going to be taking those visuals now of the acting provincial chairperson, Emalahleni, handing over the ANC flag to Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa, a National Executive Committee member of the African National Congress. You can see the flag of the ANC, the black, green and gold, being handed over to the NEC member, Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa, who's now handing it over to the family of the late ANC stalwart, ANC veteran, member of the United Democratic Front, a metal worker, Baba Jackson Mthembu, a man who stayed amongst the people, whose roots hail from what was then dubbed the Eastern Transvaal region of the ANC. You'd remember that conference of the ANC in 1993, where Jackson Mthembu received the highest number of votes in the Eastern Transvaal Regional Conference, alongside the likes of Matthews Poza, the former premier and former provincial chairperson of this province, the likes of Chair Masilela, who was the regional secretary at the time, and the likes of Nka Shabangu, who was the treasurer. That's the family of Babu Mvelase Mthembu, who've now received the ANC flag, the black, green and gold with ANC colors on it. And I'm just now going to bring in Speedy Mashilo, the Nkangala regional chairperson, is going to speak about the role Babu Mvelase has had in this particular region of Nkangala. Mr. Mashilo, the role that Jackson Mthembu has played in this particular region, and how has it played out over the years?
Well, Comrade Jackson is our father in the politics. He taught us the politics. As you all know, he was an organizer. He was a teacher by profession. The role he has played in this region is quite imminent. And we are quite happy the role he has played. Today we are in Nkangala as we are in the democracy because of Comrade Jackson. I must indicate Comrade Jackson in 1998, when he was the MEC of Transport in Mpumalanga, he did even announce about the Moloto corridor or Moloto rail corridor. For us, he has done a lot, and we are quite proud of him, and we wish to take over where Comrade Jackson has left as we move forward. We want his spirit to rest in peace, and we hope the family will accept that they have borrowed us Comrade Jackson. It is time for him to take the rest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Speedy Mashilo. That was Speedy Mashilo, the acting the chairperson of Nkangala region. I'm going to bring in Dr. Gwen Ramakhupa and Mandla Ndlovu, the acting provincial chairperson of the ANC. Mam Gwen, Dr. Gwen Ramakhupa, just a handing over ceremony of the ANC flag, the symbolism of it that you and the acting chairperson Mandla Ndlovu have just done to the family. What does that symbolize of the service that Jackson Mthembu has had to the African National Congress, and also as a deployee of the ANC to this province?
We have just handed over the flag of the ANC to the family to thank the family for having allowed Comrade Jackson Mthembu to spend most of his life serving our people as a member of the African National Congress. We also hand over the flag to a family of a member who has been disciplined, and in the case of Comrade Jackson Mthembu, he has been one of our best. He has been one of our finest cadres. He has been one cadre who was dependable, who was loyal, who was highly principled, and who was even prepared to lay his life for our people in South Africa. We must remember the ANC is not there for itself, but the ANC is there to serve the people of South Africa. We're also saying to the family that we are still at their service. That Comrade Jackson Mthembu has passed on, it doesn't mean our ties with the family have also been cut off. And the symbolism of this flag is to say the family is also part of the bigger family of the African National Congress, and we shall forever be indebted to them for having given us one of the finest sons of Africa to serve our people, to be part and parcel of a liberation movement, to also be part and parcel of building a democratic South Africa. But above all, we know that Comrade Jackson Mthembu was the face of government in the fight against COVID. And we will, in his honor, do everything. And the NEC, Lokotla, that is also sitting, has also committed that we will take off from where he left from. He died with his boots strapped, serving our people. And we honor him and we thank him. May his soul rest in peace.
Dr. Gwen Ramakhupa, Mthembu's passing comes at a time where his home province, Mpumalanga, politically is faced with a number of challenges. We've seen the various branch general meetings heading to Nasrec. just recently as well, heading to the preparations of their provincial conference where guns are being used. There have been allegations of political assassinations in this province, just named to name but a few. His ally, his comrade, the late Jimo Mohlala, who was gunned down in the building of the Mbombela Stadium. These are some of the names, glorious names. They were known with Jackson Mthembu as the encyclopedias of local government. What does that symbolize for the province of Mpumalanga when such leaders of their caliber have departed?
Comrade Jackson Mthembu, as I've said, is one of our finest cadres. Highly disciplined, dependable, loyal, and principled. He always stood against wrong. And even he himself, if he has done wrong, he would actually acknowledge it and do and rectify. And that is what we want comrades to do. We have spent a lot of time in his home province, but also nationally, to say to comrades that the people of South Africa deserve and requires ANC members that remember that this is their movement. And we have begun to deal with those issues. And even our 54th conference has been very clear to give us the mandate. And Comrade Jackson was part and parcel of that team, the formidable team that is assisting our officials, especially the president, to ensure that we are on track in terms of bringing back the ANC to the people as they expect us to hold it as a higher moral consciousness of society.
Dr. Ramahupa, you speak of President Ramaphosa and the role Babu Mthembu has played. He played a pivotal role in the election of President Ramaphosa at Nasrec. I would see visuals of him with slops on, working the ground in provinces such as KwaZulu-Natal for those votes at the 54th National Conference of the ANC. Just his parting shot, what he would love for the ANC to continue doing in his memory.
In the memory of Comrade Jackson, the 54th National Conference resolutions of ensuring that the ANC builds a capable and ethical and developmental state is carried out. Fighting corruption and appointing, especially as we go towards the local government elections, those leaders that come from the people and that will never forget that they are there not to serve themselves but to serve the people, just like Comrade Jackson's attitude has been on all his deployments. Another important thing is that there is this challenge of making sure that we fight and we defeat COVID-19. We must do everything to prevent. The regulations that are there are not for government. They are there to help us to protect one another in our resolve to defeat the epidemic. And we can defeat it. There are countries that are now, like New Zealand, that have now registered zero transmissions of the infections. So we must be focused. The fight depends on, the success of the fight depends on us, each one of us. The other important thing is our economic reconstruction and recovery, which is absolutely important as poverty and unemployment and inequality are critical. So the mandate is there, and we need to be true to the mandate. And led by our President Cyril Ramaphosa, we will continue the legacy of this fine son of the soil.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ramahupa. I'm just going to bring in some veterans of the ANC here in the Mpumalanga province, and also the former premier of the province, that would be the Deputy Minister Thabang Makwetla, and one of the stalwarts of the ANC in the province. Just the life and times that you've spent with your comrade, the late Mvelase Mthembu.
There are human beings that will never ever be repeated in life. You will never ever have their duplicate. There are human beings that live only once, and they make such great impression that they become what I can call larger than life characters. Babu Mthembu is such a unique human being. Someone that had all the advantage and opportunity that he could have stayed in town when he became the MEC. I became a member of parliament with him in 1994. He was a member of Senate, so he could afford to go and stay in town, but he always chose to be with his people, because he always understood that to us, the masses of the people are what water is to fish. Without them, you can't live them. Even in the last days, I was fighting with him because he had a tendency of running away from his security guys. Because he always said, but they can't be there and look after him all night through, all day through. They also need to rest because he always wanted to connect with the people. All the time, he's someone that always wished to come back to those people that elevated him and made him. Not many are like him, because others start thinking about blue lights, security guards, and many other privileges that go with this. But what I like about Comrade Mthembu is his fearlessness, his love for the ANC, his principled character. And I was telling a journalist that was asking me about some of the moments that I won't forget. It was when he wanted to beat a premier of the province at some stage, based on the fact that he didn't agree with him. And he said, look, if you can't understand the ANC politics, if I can't reason with you and you can't have this in your head, the only thing that I can ensure that this will be enforced in your head and be nailed is with a fist. And I knew that that was the day that he was going to be fired, because at any time that there's violence that will take place in an ANC meeting, anyone would not know whether he was correct politically or not, because you cannot promote anyone pitting anyone. But that's how far Mthembu can go in terms of his love for the ANC. And I think for us what is important coming here is it is not just to mourn, but to celebrate his life. We know he left a void that we must all fill. We must actually drill deep into the meaning of losing someone like Mthembu, the void he has created, for us to be able to start thinking about how best to fill that void. Because one thing that we can learn from nature is that whatever it is that he left as giant feet and giant shoes, we must do all we can in our power to fill those shoes. And I don't think that Mthembu has died. Mthembu will continue to live within us and through us. And it is that role and responsibility that we have for those that are remaining. We must stay humble. We must always remember those that place us in leadership positions, and do not think that by virtue of being there, it means that we are far better than they are. He's one person that brought me from age 13. I remember some of the words that he always said is that a public servant is someone that must be like a doormat, that anyone removes all dirt from his shoes. Even dogs must actually sit and pee there. The public servants and politicians, that's what he said, must not regard themselves as clouds that give us rain, but they must always be humble. They must be where ants are. They must always be where the masses of the people are, because that is what will elevate them.
When you look at the history of Umvelase in this province, which was dubbed the former Eastern Transvaal, you look at the role he played with the likes of the late Jimo Mohlala, the role he played with the likes of the late Chair Masilela, the former regional secretary of this region. Just in short, the kind of cadre that the ANC has lost in this province.
Look, Mthembu is part of a generation of leaders that this province, I think, will have to strive to emulate, to follow. Mpumalanga under Matthew Posa and Mthembu, that generation of leaders, I was very fortunate or privileged to be part of that leadership as one of the youngest MECs in this province. If you look at Maputo Development Corridor, it was their initiative. This is the first province that came up with an idea of a government that came up with a precinct where government can be housed, instead of having government that was scattered throughout the country. This is a province for the first time that came up with an idea of coming up with an identity through which it sought to create a single sense of identity out of our people that it located into the national identity. This is a province that came up with a logo that sought to also remind our people that if there's anything that must unite us as a new nation, it is the political identity that must unite us as a new democratic country. But this is a province also that came with what Mthembu was also part of that, with an idea of learning from other countries, because as we speak, Mpumalanga is one province that had one of the most important initiatives with other provinces and states in Australia, in Egypt, in Germany, in France. The idea being that as we started the new government, we had to learn from other experiences and not reinvent And I hope that the new government that we have currently can continue with such important initiatives.
Thank you very much, sir, for your words to the late Ubaba Umvelase. As the rain pours here in Woodbank, the soul and the remains of Baba Umvelase will now be reconnected with the ancestors of the governing party. I know that we've got to go to an ad break, but we definitely have to take these visuals that are going to be coming in. I'm just going to let you go to the ad break as the Treasurer General of the African National Congress, Paul Mashatile, arrives to the family.